All right. Welcome, boys, to a special, very special Super Bowl Sunday edition of the Fantasy Football League, Phil Rivers Fantasy Football League. It's been a while. Sorry, boys. Episode number 2. And today we're going to do a little surprise for you. I know it's Super Bowl Sunday. Hope you're viewing this at halftime. But today we're going to be releasing the draft lottery for the 2019 season. And
let's go, baby.
A big day. I got Chris Marks with me, co-commish. Chris, how you doing, bud?
Doing pretty good. Like you said, Super Bowl Sunday. Bills aren't in it this year. But, I'd like to remind you guys that the Patriots have gone three years in a row, but Buffalo Bills made it 4. So dynasty, not yet.
Were you alive during those 4, or?
Actually, I was born during the third Super Bowl run, and as rumor has it, when I was coming out of the vaginal canal, I came out wide right, like Norwood's kick. So
you were essentially born a runner-up.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But yeah, guys, today we're gonna do the draft lottery. Remember, it's a snake draft. We've got a lot of things on the line due to the trades in season. A lot of people are rooting for others to get low picks. Some are rooting for each other to get high picks. Chris is going to run through that in just a few minutes. I'm going to release this at halftime. So right now, Chris, my prediction at halftime is 17-13 Rams at halftime right now. How about you?
I'd like to put a prediction in for the score of the game before it starts, and that score is going to be 0-0 because it hasn't started yet.
You're always known for your bold takes there, Marksy. So that's good stuff. Before we kick off here, quick shout out to the league sponsors who fund the entire league and make it all possible for us to get together. I mean, these are the best fantasy owners in the world. All 12 of us in one league is really special. And big shout out to Jewel Mango. Smoke it up. Chris, we're going to run down the league review real quick.
Mm-hmm.
We have, obviously, Kurt Naswitz, Daddy Dangles, won the ship over Jameis Lannister. That's one of my favorite names. Andrew Domingos. And you and I were in the consolation match. I came in third, but who really cares about that? Some thoughts on the season?
I think it was a good season. A lot of drama at the end of the season. Yeah, I don't know that I've been part of a league where there's been so much drama at the end of the season. Big trades. big fights, big big trades that got vetoed. You know, I didn't hear much of those, but some people still sour.
Sounds
I
like
think
it. Yeah.
that I think that it was probably one of the most exciting finishes to a league that I've seen, especially because you had Kurt coming up from the low ranks in the playoffs to march all the way through and win it. You had somebody like Ricky who I don't know how the hell he got into the playoffs, but he snuck into the playoffs from what was it, ninth?
That was
And
amazing.
then
All four teams lost, or three out of the four teams lost. He won and got in.
yeah, and he fell flat on his face. You know, I hope that he figures it out for next year. But great year all around. Everybody, great athletes out there, great coaches.
Yeah, it was a good year. Damn, one thing I wanted to do was do the money breakout for everyone. Kurt won the big pot. Domingos, I think, won 250. I ended up winning $30 total or something like that between weekly high scores and finishing first in the regular season. And I think you, John, got some weekly $20 totals. Domingos got some too. I'll give a full breakout of that. For next year, guys, message us if you have an issue with this, but I'm thinking about doing $150 for the entrance fee. Chris and I were just talking about keeping the waiver wire the same or doing the auction one that we talked about last year. We've got like 6 months of our time here, so we could probably figure that out if we really want to do that. The trade vetoes, right now, this year was only 4 votes needed to veto a trade, which is kind of ridiculous. I think we got to bump that up to 6, maybe get half the league 6 or maybe 7 to do that. And we'll talk about all these rule changes in the next couple months. Chris, you want to go through the trades during the season and what people are looking for in the draft to benefit them?
Absolutely. So for the sake of brevity, I only really looked at the rounds 1 through 6 to see what rounds people were trading in and so on and so forth. After the 6th round, it's kind of a toss-up. But basically, if you remember in a snake draft, the true order of the draft will lay down in rounds 1, 3, and 5. And then it's going to be the reverse order in rounds 2, 4, and 6. So to start things off, Tony has Wyatt's 3rd round pick from the trade for Le'Veon Bell at the start of the season.
What a trade.
What ends up being a huge steal. And obviously being 3rd round, it's a true round. So Tony's hoping for Wyatt's pick to be high. So keep your fingers crossed that Wyatt's pick's going to be high. And obviously Wyatt wants his pick to be high too. So, you can have 2 winners there. I actually have Connor's 5th round pick and Brandon's 5th round pick. And being that that's a true round, I want them to have high picks as well. Buck has my 4th and my 6th, which means he wants me to have a late round pick. Dan has Kurt's 2nd round pick, so he wants Kurt to pick last, which would essentially mean that Dan would have 2 top picks after his 1st round.
Yeah, he'd have the 13th overall pick if Kurt gets first.
He would have nearly 2 first-round picks, and vice versa. Kurt has Dan's 4th round pick, and he also wants Dan to pick late, because that would mean that Kurt's nearly getting another 3rd round pick and only dropped 1 round for the cost for Zeke Elliott. And then last, Buck has Domingos' 4th round pick from when he traded for Devontae Adams, and that means that Brandon won a late round pick. And that's it for the top 6th round picks that were traded.
All right. You want to get to it?
Let's do it. Godspeed. Right. May the odds be ever in my favor.
I've got all of them folded up same way right here in my Vortex hat, Vortex Companies. Shout out.
Sponsored John Elway.
Sponsored by John Elway. And here we go. This is for the first pick in the 2019 Phil Rivers Fantasy Football League Draft. I'm opening it. Oh my goodness. We have Jimmy G's penis. This is Ricardo Gallucci has the first overall pick in the 2019 NFL Draft.
Congrats, Rick. Congrats. Don't blow it.
Who's going to be the top of? Is Todd Gurley going to stay as the number 1 pick?
I was wondering about that too. I feel like Gurley's got a little bit of a knee thing going on right now, and CJ Anderson's kind of shown that anybody in that backfield is going to be good. So I almost wonder if they're going to give Gurley a little bit less work next year. But who knows?
You might see like Kamara or Saquon or someone like that. Zeke. I don't know. You might see someone like that in the number 1 slot.
Yeah.
And with the second overall pick in the 2019 draft. Wow. Back-to-back Gallucci brothers. Tony.
Holy crap.
Tony. Oh my
Holy crap.
So what were we just saying?
So this doesn't help anybody really, because Tony didn't really trade away for any draft picks. So in any case, oddly enough, the two people to pick first and second have no play in other people's drafts, just their own.
Tony is going to have, I mean, we'll see how this rest of this shakes out, but holy crap, he might have like 6 picks top 30.
Yes, that means Tony could be picking very high up in the draft multiple times.
Yep. And Tony actually ended up finishing dead last in the league this year with all the consolation playoffs. So maybe it's well-deserved that he it's all part of the process, part of the process. He tanked. And now with the third pick, I didn't shuffle that up right.
Vortex app, real cool.
Cole. Cole DePew. Oh my goodness. Cole with the third overall pick, and I don't think that affects anyone again.
It's odd that it's another person who is not tied up in anybody else's trades or anybody else's draft.
So Kurt and Dan Kowarick both have to be pretty happy right now, it sounds like.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they wanted each other to have late round picks. There are a bunch of people who wanted people to have late round picks. Buck, Dan, Kurt, yeah.
All right. So far we've got Rick, Tony, Cole as the order. Here's the 4th pick overall. Wow. David Bray.
Oh my God.
David Bray. Another, didn't make any trades, no real impact there, but boy, does he need a breakout season. I don't think he has one keeper on his entire roster. So
I can't wait to watch Bray blow it with the 4th pick. I can't wait. It's gonna be so exciting. If he makes it to the draft on time.
Yeah, he's got to pay his dues first, Every year.
This pick's going to be me. I know it.
5th pick. Wow. Waiver wire. Chris Marks.
Do it. Yes.
Chris set a fantasy football league record of all time in the history of fantasy football with 60 waiver wire transactions during the season. Chris gets the 5th overall pick.
All right.
Sitting in a pretty good spot.
That's tough for people like Buck because Brandon wanted me to have the latest pick possible because that helped him out in the 4th and 6th round. So it's not 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th. What am I, 4th or 5th? 5th. So it's not the worst case scenario for him, but it certainly could have been better. That's tough luck for Buck.
So we have Tony, Rick, Cole, David, Chris so far. And with the 6th pick, we have myself, the commissioner, with the 6th pick.
Do you think that they'll figure out that you and I set that up?
We'll delete that. We'll delete that part. We got to edit that out.
It wasn't set up. I'm just making a joke, guys. All right? Stop being so serious. Freaks out.
With the 7th pick, we have Wyatt. What did he traded away a ton of stuff?
Yeah, Wyatt traded away his 3rd. So it could be worse for Tony, could be better. Tony's got Wyatt's. That means Wyatt's going to be right at the back end of the 2nd round for Tony. Well, high end 3rd. So that's pretty good for Tony.
So Wyatt got 7th overall there.
Yeah.
With the 8th overall pick, John's team. Because he doesn't change his team name. You get it?
Well, that's not his team name. It's got to be a lowercase j.
John gets the 8th overall pick, and he actually set the record for least waiver wire transactions in a given year with 1. So that was remarkable. He started off the season like 4-0 and then just tanked.
Yeah, he was a little bit too reliant on Fitzmagic.
Yeah. And with the 9th pick, we've got Dan Kowarek, Texas Spoonatapa. Does anyone have any idea what his team name means yet?
He actually told me at one point, and I don't recall. It wasn't particularly funny when he told me.
Well, that's not surprising.
Such a good guy, though. Great guy.
So that was Kowarek with 9. 10th. The champ, Kurt Nazowitz. Wow.
So to reflect back on things, that's actually great for both Kurt and Dan. They both went out in that trade because now essentially Kurt or Dan's pick being towards the end helps Kurt because Kurt's going to be at the top end of the 4th round, which means he's essentially in 2 third-round picks, and vice versa for Dan. That means that Dan's going to have a 1st-round pick, a 2nd-round pick, and he's going to have a high 2nd-round pick from Kurt. So he's going to have probably 3 picks in the top 30.
No, he's got. So what that means, he has the 9th overall pick.
Yeah.
The 15th, and the 16th. He has 3 in the top 16.
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous. And I imagine he'll be keeping Kittle in the 10th round this year too. So he's pretty set up. He doesn't have to go for anybody odd like a tight end. So
Kowarek might be set up for a run. Wow, that's big. Kurt was 10th. We're going into the 11th now. Mr. Domingos, Andrew Domingos gets the draft. So that he gave away
his 4th to Buck, and that means Buck will be double dipping essentially at the end of the 3rd round.
Yeah.
So Brandon's netted almost an extra 3rd-round pick with that.
That's big. And I don't even know who we have left. But the last pick in the draft is Buck. Buck Marks.
So, all said and done, it looks like through rounds 1 through 6, Buck's going to have, I believe Brandon's going to have the most picks overall. But in terms of placement, they didn't benefit him a whole lot in terms of, is it late or is it early? But he still has the most picks overall, rounds 1 through 6.
Yeah, so 2 people that really benefited here, Kowarek and Buck.
And Kurt.
And Kurt too, but Kurt does give up that 2nd-round pick. That's going to hurt. So he sold out for the championship, but he got it. So we've got the draft order, once again, is Rick, Tone, Cole, Bray, Chris, Connor, Wyatt, John, Dan Kowarek, Kurt, Domingos, and Buck. Wow.
That's an interesting draft order. Tony having a couple extra picks also is interesting. So really, of the teams that kind of tanked last year and kind of sold out for this season coming up, you have Tony, who's in a good spot. He's got multiple picks in the first 6 rounds. You have Buck, who's in a great spot with multiple picks in the first round as well, the most of anybody. And then you have Dan, who is going to have 3 picks in the top 16. Damn, that is pretty scary.
Tony could have done, he's got a ton of picks in the first 5 rounds, but he could have done better with draft position, but he still got a ton of picks.
I also feel an underappreciated thing here is that Tony could have moved a couple more pieces and gotten more draft picks. Yeah. I think he was a bit stubborn. I had one conversation going with him, but I think he was rightfully so, trying to drive up the value of his players, and then time ran out. And I think he really could have benefited from a couple extra picks, moving Thielen or moving a couple other guys. So
he still has, with his his last round pick, he's got Geis, who's going to be starting running back for Washington next year. So
yep. Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see where keepers go from here on out.
Well,
I think in the worst shape, moving into the draft for 2019 is possibly Wyatt, who gave up a piece or two that are pretty high up in the draft, and his placement is right smack dab in the middle of the round, which means he's not going to be getting top in the round or bottom of the round at any point. He's going to be right in the middle all the way through.
Yeah, I got to be honest. It's probably Wyatt and then me for sitting the worst way right now. I'm right.
You're always pessimistic.
Yeah, but I don't have a 5th round. Well, we'll see how it shakes out. We got a bunch of time before. Obviously, it's only the Super Bowl, but we'll talk about the rules and stuff like that. Congratulations to Kurt and Domingos for getting some money, and we'll see what happens next year. It looks like the favorites going into 2019 are probably Tony, Dan Kowarek. I mean, that's parity. That's parity in this league.
Yeah. How about that? Wow. All right. Well, I'm gonna brace myself. I see that Adam Levine's done finger blasting his own butthole, and it looks like that the Patriots are about to lose. So I'm gonna check out of here. Thanks, Cone. Thanks for organizing this all as always, and see you in a couple months.
Perfect. I'm gonna put my life savings on the Rams money line. Okay.
David, it's a lock. Do it.
See you, man.
See ya.